Now I know what you're thinking right now. Dustin, what are you doing in the middle of nowhere? Well, it's to test this microphone, the COMICA VM40, which is basically a wireless shotgun microphone that can do 32-bit float audio recording internally. Okay, that's not the actual reason that I'm out in the middle of nowhere. I'm here for a shoot, but we're gonna test these nonetheless. Also, can we just appreciate this dead cat that came with the microphone as well?
So that's not originally how that intro went. This was how it originally went.
You're asking yourself, Dustin, what are you doing in the middle of nowhere? Well, let me tell you. To test the COMICA VM40 wireless shotgun mic system that can do 32-bit float audio internally in the
Range is going to be a common theme that we are going to test and talk about in this video, not just about this particular microphone, the COMICA VM40, which we are also recording on as well, but advertised range in general when it comes to audio. Also, spoiler alert, I do recommend this mic, but after using it, I've definitely changed my expectations of how I will use it because of the tests. Now, if you don't know me, my name's Dustin, your video tour guide, and remember to keep your arms and legs inside your chairs at all times. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Now, just to be clear, COMICA sent me this microphone in exchange for a review video, but there was no money exchanged and doesn't affect how I would make this review video. This video also isn't really going to be a walkthrough, but more of a thorough test of the mics because there's plenty of other videos on YouTube you can watch if you want a walkthrough. So let me first tell you why this microphone on the surface has a lot of really cool things going for it, like what I mentioned in the intro, and it only cost $249 for the single mic version and $399 for the two mic version. But I personally think it was sloppily executed. Is sloppily a word? If not, it's my word. Let me just do a quick comparison though against my DJI XLR shotgun mic when it comes to sound quality, using it wirelessly, plugged into camera via auxiliary, and with 32-bit float internally.
This is a microphone test using my DJI shotgun mic. How does it sound when we compare it against the COMICA VM40? This is a microphone test with the COMICA VM40. We are recording both 32-bit float internally on the mic and also line in via the receiver to the camera. How does it compare when we put it up against the DJI shotgun mic? So some of the things that I want to test on this microphone specifically is the 32-bit float audio, of course. I want to kind of test the range as well. That's something I'm kind of interested in. I don't have it off the top of my head. Wait, let me just look it up. It says that it has a working range up to 200 meters, and that's obviously in an open area. So, and by the way, I actually have the version that comes with two microphones. So you can connect two shotgun microphones to the receiver, which I also think is really cool. But there's also some things kind of like first impression wise that I'm not totally crazy about, but I need to get to our Airbnb location, so maybe we'll talk about it along the way. So interesting development with this microphone already. That 200 meter range, I don't know if I can trust it at all. It's more like 6 meters, maybe 10 meters. This is the test of the range. I'm gonna walk this way out into the middle of nowhere. Just walking, seeing what I'm doing, trying to find my way, because 200 meters, that's a bold claim in an open area, which I'm in an area, so it better be audio. Maybe I was getting some interference. I did reach out to COMICA to see, so we'll find out later if there's something I'm doing wrong, or maybe I have a defective unit, or if maybe they're being a little ambitious with that range.
We will get back to the range test because I discovered something when comparing to the DJI Mic 2s. But let me talk about the best part, in my opinion, which, yes, is the 32-bit float audio you can record internally and the integration with the app. Now here's some tests I did using the 32-bit float internal recording. Again, for me, this is where the mic is the most useful, and a little bonus, if you're not near the mic, you can trigger the mic to start recording 32-bit flow internally. The battery life was great as well. I was recording 32-bit flow internally for 6 hours straight, and then about another 3 hours later that day on the same charge on the microphone. Oh, and by the way, you can use this mic just as a regular shotgun mic via the out port on the mic. There's a bunch of other cool controls too on the app that you can go take a look at on some other videos on YouTube. But I want to get back to the range test and talk about why I think this mic is sloppily executed.
So COMICA got back to me about the mic only getting about 6 feet of range. And they told me that the antenna on this thing is like somewhere right here. So don't block the antenna. They also said to try and face the receiver. So I'm going to face the receiver. They basically just gave me, oh, this is how you achieve that range. I'm going to walk backwards this whole time because that's what they told me to do. So we'll go ahead and start walking backwards. Now the range on this thing should be quite far. Like, I think 2 football fields. There shouldn't be any kind of interference at all. Not that I can think of. I don't know how far back I'm going to go. But yeah, I'm facing the receiver. I'm also holding it on the shock mount just to be sure that I don't accidentally, put my finger on this antenna that they're talking about. I'm going to hold the mic. I'm going down a little bit of a hill, so I might be getting a little bit. I'm just going to come back. This is about 100 yards. I'm going to start coming back.
So essentially, that range is quite generous because if there is any kind of obstacle between you and the receiver, like a body, tree, hill, or your hand, I would definitely not trust the range at all. Now, I wanted to see how this mic's range compared to my DJI Mic 2s and see if DJI was more reliable.
I've got my DJI mics right here on this camera, and then on this camera, I have the COMICA VM40 shotgun mic. Okay, I'm gonna stop right here, and then I'm gonna turn around. Is this microphone cutting out? This is the COMICA, and then this is the DJI mic. So now let's go ahead and scoot back more. All right, I'm gonna stop right here. This is the DJI mic, and then this is the COMICA mic. And now I'm going to turn around. Now I'm going to back up, keep going here, and we'll see how well it holds up. I don't want to trip here because there's this big, I don't know what that is.
Now the test of this comparison was quite surprising because I was confident that the DJI Mic 2s would not cut out when I blocked it with my body, at least from close range. But they both did at equal distances. But what's interesting between the two is that the DJI Mic 2s, as soon as I turned around, they would immediately reconnect and I would get audio back. But it would take the VM40s a solid 10 seconds each time for it to reestablish connection. So it's something to be very aware of, not only on the VM40s, but probably most microphones that are in this kind of like content creator microphone category, if that makes sense. And the range, advertised range on the DJI Mic 2s is 250 meters. So let me tell you my final thoughts on this mic and how my expectations of this shotgun mic changed so drastically after using and testing them. Now, at first, when I read the specs on these mics, I was like, wow, there's 3 different scenarios I can think of where I can't wait to use these mics for. One, when I want to use shotgun mics on an A cam and a B cam and capture audio from both into one camera, maybe on some kind of documentary style shoot. And 2, wirelessly as a shotgun mic on set on a boom pole, and interviews where I'm holding the mic in my hand, so like this, kind of like what I did in the intro. But unfortunately, the wireless aspect, I feel like the only place I can trust it is in a scenario like this, where I'm shooting an interview and the mic is on a boom pole, which that is really useful, but I had higher expectations based on the specs. Where this mic is very sloppily executed though is the operation / ergonomics of it. It's very confusing. As an example, in order to get the internal recordings, you have to hold down the rec and the safety button when the microphone is off in order to enter copy mode. Sometimes too, when I would transfer the files, it would just randomly disconnect in the middle of a transfer. To turn on the mic, you also hold down the safety button. There's no indication on here like for on and off. And also the safety button has like a Wi-Fi signal on it as well, so it's just confusing. Also with the record button, there was several times where I would try and stop or start recording, and instead I would just turn on the low or high pass filters, because when you just press it, it cycles through them. You have to actually hold the button to start recording, which makes sense, but sometimes you feel like you've held it long enough, but you haven't. The screen on the mic will also go to sleep, and when you press one of the buttons or even hold down the record button, it just wakes up the screen, so you may accidentally not change a setting or even not start recording when you think you did. Anyways, I understand you get used to it if you use the mic often, but I just feel like a lot of this could have been executed better with just more text indicating how it works. Like, I honestly don't even know really what the Wi-Fi signal thing is for. And they could have even put like on and off right above this safety button, then you actually knew that's how you turn it on and off. Anyways, oh, I noticed a little thing. When you record 32-bit float internally longer than an hour, it'll split the file in two, which isn't a big deal, but there will be about half a second of frames missing in between the two recordings. So be aware of that if you're shooting a talking head for longer than an hour. So in conclusion, I will likely only use this mic in two scenarios: here at my desk, or to record 32-bit float internally. But if you plan on using it any other way, like the ones I had in my head, I'd just proceed with caution. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I will have links to the mics in the description. They will also be affiliate links, so if you use those, thank you. It supports the channel. You can always support me though just by hitting the subscribe button and the bell button to be notified of future uploads. Till the next video though, happy filming.